Hi, everybody. I hope that this camera is set up okay. I'm having technical difficulties today, so I'm doing my best, as always. Sometimes isn't that great. So for today, you will need a block if you have one. We're not really going to use it specifically, so unlike last week, it's not really a big deal. Don't feel like you've got to grab like a stack of books or anything like that. And a strap, though. That one's more important. So, I mean, we can make do if you don't have anything to use, but if you've got something like a men's, or it doesn't have to be a men's, a belt or like the tie from your robe or something like that, just something that you can loop over a foot. Basically, it's like a way to lengthen your arms if we can't reach the foot quite so easily, which most of us can't in the position that we're going to use it in. Okay. So go ahead and grab your strap or whatever it is that you're using. That'll be the first thing that we'll need. We're going to just use that right at the beginning. So go ahead and grab that and then lay down on your back, on your mat. So just get comfortable. Strap can just be next to you. You don't need it immediately. So just go ahead and set it aside for now. So with that, just lay back into a comfortable position. Right, and we're just going to take the first few minutes, as always, just to get centered. So get comfortable. You can bend at the knees. You can stretch out the legs. Arms can be in any position here initially. And then go ahead and close down the eyes. So with the eyes closed, go ahead and let the muscles of the face really soften. Let the muscles of the jaw soften. We're full of technical difficulties today. There we go. Let your breathing soften. Take full inhales through the nose. And really long exhales out through the nose or the mouth, whichever feels most releasing to you, whatever that looks like. You know, so many of us are just running around, right? Or just the opposite right now, right? Stuck at home, trying to stay busy or occupied or keep our kids busy or whatever the case may be. And take one more big breath in through the nose and then let it go out through the mouth. And then lengthen out the body so you're stretching from the tips of your toes to your fingertips. And with one big breath out, squeeze the knees all the way up into the chest. Really connect with that sound of the breath, the texture of your breathing. So lots of options here. You can just squeeze in gently and stay still. You can lift the head to activate the core a little bit, or you can rock from side to side or around even in a circular motion down on the low back, kind of massaging away a little bit of tension maybe. Good, and then let's all go ahead and lift the head together. So on a breath out, bring your chin in toward your chest with your forehead moving in the direction of the knees. And then with the hands, you can certainly hold on. Let go as much as you're able. So if you can, kind of lighten up on the hands a little bit. You can even let go completely. Good. And then let the head come down. Let the feet come down as well. So feet are planted flat on the floor, about hips width apart. And then cross your right heel over top of the left thigh. Feel like your right knee is really pressing out and away, not with the hands, but just with the strength in the outer thigh, bringing that outward. And flex the foot. Stay here if that feels good to you. Or if you feel like you need a little bit more, though, go ahead and lift the left foot off of the ground. Maybe you take hold of the back of the left thigh. You can use that to pull in a little bit more if you need that assistance. Left knee can stay bent, or maybe here we start to stretch it up toward the ceiling. If taking that route, leg is just as straight as feels all right. And really flex the foot, press up and out through the left heel. And so we get that nice lengthening all the way down the back of the leg. And then bend at the left knee if it's lifted there. Take the left foot back down to the ground. Reach the arms straight out to the sides. Palms facing the ceiling if that feels okay. If you need to feel a bit more grounded, flip palms to floor. Lifting them up towards the sky, though, allows the shoulders to roll back and down and the chest to open up. So from here, keep planted in that left foot. We're just going to kind of tick-tock back and forth. So you're going as far as the low back will allow while still feeling really good. Notice how the hips feel, maybe through that right hip, depending on where we were in that position initially. Right, if we had the left foot lifted, if we kept it on the ground, how that side feels. And then the next time that you make it over to the left side, go ahead and drop down to your comfort level and stay. So left thigh and knee might hit the floor, right foot might hit the floor. If you feel like you need a little bit more through the low back area especially, go ahead and take your left hand to the outside edge of the right knee and help guide that downward as well. Head can turn over toward the right side of the room. Right, keeping it centered if that's better on your neck. Come back to center, uncross, and just recross going the other direction. So left will come over top of right, left knee presses out, left foot flexes. Stay there and see how that feels initially. If you need more sensation through the left hip, go ahead and lift off of the ground any amount. Maybe just the heel lift, so it gives you an inch or two. Or you can lift up, you can hold it on or not. Full breaths in and back out, nice and slow. Really staying tuned into your breathing so that you create this rhythm for your practice. And it's just your own rhythm. It might be much faster or slower than mine. Right leg might extend upward here. If so, go ahead and flex the foot so that the heel is leading up toward the sky. Bend at the right knee if it's lifted. Take that foot down to the ground and reach the arms out to your sides, palms up or down. You decide, and it might not be the same as it was on the other side. And right foot's kind of our pivot point. We'll just go back and forth. Right, and maybe you're coming all the way down to the ground. Maybe it's just a teeny tiny little movement. You might notice a pretty big difference between the two sides. That's normal. And then the next time we make it to the right, go ahead and stay. Go down as far as you can, as far as the right thigh and knee are concerned. And then same thing with the left foot. Maybe it's planted. You can always take the right hand and press. Keep drawing the left shoulder down toward the ground. And again, head centered if that's best, or you can direct it over the left shoulder so that that twist spirals all the way up the spine, including the neck. Come back up to center. Uncross, and then here we'll go ahead and grab hold of the strap. Keep both feet planted on the ground initially, knees pointed up towards the sky. Your strap, or whatever you're using, may end up having a loop on the end of it, or it might just be one long strap. Doesn't really matter for this. You can hook the entire thing over, or if you've got that loop going on, hook that around the ball of the foot. So whatever you're using, try and hook it toward the ball of the foot. That'll help the toes draw back and the foot to remain flexed without a lot of effort. Good, and then just point up through the heel, just like we did before in that figure 4 stretch. See how that feels. Now, if it's okay, you can stretch that left leg out. I'm feeling super tight today for some reason. I don't really know why. Too much sitting and Netflix while quarantined, I think. So then here, hold on just with your right hand. Let your left arm stretch out to the left side of your mat and open the right leg out to the side. So here, notice what happens. For me, right away, my left glute lifts up and I start to tip everything over to the right. Even if that leg is floating, that's okay. We want to sink down through the left glute. We want to feel like the hips are pretty even in space. And then lift back up. Go ahead and switch hands. For this one, you'll have to stretch out the left leg. It'll kind of just get in the way. If not, you can bend that in the right knee if you need to. If that makes it too intense, stretch your right arm out to the side and we'll take a twist. So I'm kind of out of room here. Take your right leg over and down toward the left. It can come down as far as feels okay. You're going to get this nice big stretch down the outside edge of that right thigh. Right shoulder stays planted, and just like our other twist, it's no different. Head can stay centered or turn right side. Let's pause here and take 3 big giant breaths all together. Let's inhale. Full big exhale. Inhale. And breathe it out. Last one, breathing in. And let it go. Breathe that right leg back up into the sky. And then go ahead and just release your strap. Let's recenter both feet flat on the floor, knees pointed up to the sky. Remembering that the 2 sides might not be the same, so you may need to find a different position on this side, and that's okay. So strap however you're holding it, with or without the loop, hooks around the ball of the left foot. As that foot goes up towards the ceiling, pull the toes back, the heel pushes up towards the sky. So see how this feels on this side. As far as the hand placement, a couple different ways you can take it. You can reach way up as if you're going to reach your foot. Hold up as high as you can, straight arm. Or you can bend the elbow and take the elbow all the way down to the ground. Get a little bit more of a restorative posture so it's nice and relaxed. The arm's not really working very much. I was taking kind of in the middle. And then right leg can stretch out if that feels okay. And again, the 2 sides might be very different. Take just another breath here. And then we'll go ahead and take strap just in the left hand. Right arm's going to reach out and down, grounding through that shoulder. We're going to open out to the side. So same thing here. It's going down just as far as you have space for, number 1. Number 2, that the right glute stays really glued to the ground. So with this, try and relax upper body. And the wall helps certainly, but you want to get that feeling that the left shoulder, the left chest is not struggling to hold you here. It's kind of a balance. And then breathe and take that left side back up towards the sky. We're going to switch hands here and stretch the right leg out. Again, that might mean that you bend to the knee. That's okay. And then we'll open out through the left arm as the leg goes to the right. It's going as far as it can comfortably. Maybe it's still floating quite a bit. Let's take a big inhale and let it go. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And release. Left leg back up into the air. We'll go ahead and release the strap, set it aside. We probably won't need it again. And bring the knees up into the chest. Again here, head lifts, chin tucks. This time holding the back of the thighs. Let's rock up and down. Forward and backward a few times. And sort of massaging along the back. And then once you rock all the way up, let's just find our way right into tabletop. So let's just go straight there. Fingers spread nice and wide. I always like to create the biggest base for the posture that I can. It takes pressure off of the wrists. And then it also, depending on what pose it is, makes the pose a lot more sturdy. Big breath in, drop the belly, lift the head, chest, and tail, cow pose. Let's stay for a couple of breaths though. So while we're here, squeezing the shoulder blades together, opening the chest not only up, but feel like it's stretching forward and out so that we're lengthening up and out through the spine. And then just its opposite, we'll pull the belly in tightly and we'll round through the back, chin to chest, tailbone curling under. Couple breaths here. Focus on creating space between your shoulder blades. So you really want to puff up through the upper back too. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale for cat. And let's do 2 more of each. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Come to a neutral spine and take a child's pose. Big toes touch together. I like my knees wide for the most part. Sometimes I change my mind there. So knees can be close together, far apart, or anywhere in between. Stretch fingertips forward to a comfortable point for your shoulders. And just really let your forehead press heavily down into the ground, just like a weighted forehead, so that as the head rests heavily, back the neck can relax, the jaw can relax. And then from that point on the forehead, just rock the head from side to side a couple times. And then come back to stillness and stretch as far forward through your fingertips as you can. Good. Keep the knees wide if they are here. If they're together, that's okay too. Just stay wherever you're at. And then breathe in, kneeling plank. Breathe out, sink back, child's pose. Let's do that 2 more times as well. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale forward. Yeah, we're going to keep going. We'll just add on a little bit. Let's press back. And then here, prepare for a second. Take the knees, hips distance apart, the toes curled under. But other than that, just like child's pose. Sink back. Inhale, come forward. We'll lift the knees as an option for plank pose. Knees come down, hips width apart. We'll press back, child's pose. 2 more. Inhale, forward, plank, or again, kneeling plank is good. Exhale, drop down, press back. Inhale, forward. My knees are really crackly today. Exhale, press back. Good. Again, come forward. This time your right foot's going to step to the outside of your right hand. Good. And then right foot comes back, knees come down, we'll press back. You can do that with knees down too. Inhale, we'll come forward, left foot outside of the left hand. And then bring that back, press back, child's pose. Again, inhale, forward, right foot. We're just going to do 1 more on the left side. Exhale, press back, child's. Inhale, come forward, left foot. Exhale, press back, child's pose. This time, uncurl the toes. Maybe the arms come back at your sides. If they stay forward, that's okay too. Just roll out the wrists a little bit wherever you are. And then let's take our first downward facing dog here. We'll get into that alignment a little bit here in a second, but just take it however it feels comfortable, even if that means that your feet are in really close or your legs are really wide apart. Just move around, pedal it out. And then let's just walk the feet to the top end of the mat. Nice and easy, nice and slow. Knees bent at least a little bit so that the chest or belly touches all the way to the thighs. So that might be a lot. It is for me today. Like I said, my legs are really tight. Let the head hang. Shake it out a little bit. On your inhale, take a halfway lift. Draw the shoulders back. Yeah, so we want to get rid of that rounding of the spine. We want to pull the shoulders back. Knees can still be really soft here. We don't want to lock them out. So we want to be gentle. Shoulder blades together. Chest pressing forward. Good, and then exhale, release. Okay, let's just do that again. Breathe in. And breathe out. 1 more, just like that. Breathe in. And breathe out. Let's inhale, come all the way up. And then exhale, bring the hands to the center of the heart. Close down the eyes. Good. Take just a couple breaths here. There's a few good ways to really come into the present moment. One is to focus in on the breath. Another is to really pay attention to the body. And so for me, easiest ways to do that are usually noticing something that's touching something else. So for example, here, noticing your feet down on the ground and just the sensation of the mat. If you feel sturdy or kind of wobbly, if you've got carpet underneath you, maybe it's a little less stable. Right? Or noticing sensation of palm pressing into palm. And stay here for another 4 or 5 breaths. And if you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, I always look at that as something I need more of, like patience, or self-care, self-love, or something I need less of, like judgment or competition, criticism. And then on your next inhale, take the arms all the way up, look up to the fingertips, and exhale, take a fold all the way back down, knees softening. Inhale, take a halfway lift, open up through the heart. Hands can really be anywhere, shins or thighs. Exhale, bring the hands down to the ground and find plank pose. So here we want a nice long spine, belly pulled up and in. And reaching back through the tailbone, back through the heels, forward through the crown of the head. Knees down is fine too, right? We want to keep the knees back behind the hips like this though, instead of having them up so we're kind of on all fours or tabletop. Good. And then from here, from plank or kneeling plank, you should be able to transition right into down dog without moving hands or feet. So exhale, press up and back. Right. And that's just to speak of the distance between the hands and feet. We have this misconception sometimes, I think, that because our heels are pressing toward the floor, that we need them to touch the floor. So we come up really short. All that does is starts to round through the spine. If your legs or back feel especially tight today, take a little bit of bend to the knees and press your chest back towards your thighs a bit more. Good. Inhale, let's shift back forward to plank pose, knees up or down. And then really slowly, let's come all the way down to the belly. Hands should already land right next to the chest like this. Let's uncurl the toes, breathe in low cobra, elbows squeeze the ribs, chest comes forward and out. Good. Exhale, release downward. Press up through tabletop or kneeling plank. And back, child's pose. Your choice as far as how the knees are positioned or where the arms rest. And let's press back up to down dog. And we're just going to go through one more kind of slow sun salutation like that. On your next inhale, soften the knees, look up toward the hands to prepare. And then with an exhale, you can step, walk, or hop to the top end of your mat. Let's breathe in, halfway lift, open up through the chest. Exhale, forward fold, let it go. Breathe in, circle the arms, lift up, look up. Exhale, let's take hands to the low back and clasp them here momentarily. Let's stretch the arms back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the heart. Exhale, lead with the heart as you come forward and down, laying over top of the thighs. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades together and stretching up and out through the knuckles of the hands. If you need more sensation in the shoulders, squeeze your palms toward each other. Good. Big breath and press into the feet, stand up tall, reach up tall. Exhale, forward fold down to the ground. Halfway lift, inhalation. Plant the palms, step the feet back, plank pose. Knees up or down. We're going to stay for just one full inhale here. Exhale, bend the elbows to your own degree, maybe to the belly. Chest lifts up, cobra just like before, or upward facing dog. Good, let's drop down through the knees, press back, child's pose, stretch forward through the fingertips. And walk the hands to the right side of your mat to take a little side bend. You may need to pick up the head to make your way over there. Once you arrive, set the head back down onto the ground. Breathe into the left side body. Maybe it's through the ribs, the shoulder, the waist. And then come back through center and do the same to the left side of your mat. Once you get there, head comes down. Feel like you're lengthening from your right fingertips through the crease of your right hip. Come back through center. And then we'll press up and back, downward facing dog. On your inhale, take your right leg to the sky, if you've got room. Exhale, step the right foot up to the top end of the mat, taking this low lunge. Right, so once you're positioned, we want the right knee stacked on top of the right heel. And lengthening back through that left leg. And then we'll sweep the right arm up into the air, taking a twist. Look up towards the fingertips if that feels okay. Right hand comes down to the ground. And then we're going to take reverse warrior. So back foot flips to 90 degrees. We reverse cartwheel up and overhead. Right arm stretching long through the fingertips. Good, and then sweep this left arm forward and up through both hands as you lift the back heel crescent lunge. Bring the hands to the center of the heart, and then we're going to step forward onto this right foot, lifting the left knee up. So as you come forward, maybe take a little like bunny hop up and then lift the left knee. We want the left thigh about parallel to the ground initially here. We're going to work a little bit on balance. We won't stay in any of these postures for too long. So left thigh is lifted. Let's inhale the arms up. Let's exhale, hands to the front shin. Yeah, you can hold the underside of the thigh too. So with an inhale, let's lift the head and chest up if they've fallen a little. And then we'll exhale, we'll squeeze that knee up a bit more. We'll try and keep that lifted as we bring the arms up. Airplane pose, sweep the arms back, stretch back through that left heel. Chest comes forward, squeeze the shoulder blades. And then we're going to come right back up. So a nice smooth transition. Maybe that back toe hits the ground on the way. That's okay. Arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Left heel crosses over top of right thigh as we sit down into this figure four stretch. Just a breath, and then we're going to inhale back up, knee lift. Exhale, both feet down, hands to heart center. Close the eyes and breathe. Sometimes in these balance postures, we hold the breath a bit, right? Feeling as if that's going to help hold our body up. Staying connected with the breath more than anything else. Right? Sometimes we may sacrifice the breath for these poses. We want to do just the opposite. If we need to, come out of the pose and maintain that breath instead. And breathe in, arms go up, look up. Exhale, forward fold all the way down to the ground. Separate the feet about hips width apart, or they can be a little bit wider too. So wider is okay. If you happen to have a block here, I'll demo with the block just in case. Go ahead and grab that. If not, it's no problem at all. So we're going to sweep the right arm up into the air. Left hand can rest on that block as needed. Left knee's going to bend so that we can really lengthen out through that right leg even more. Look up towards the top hand. And opposite side, right hand comes down. As the right knee bends, we'll sweep up and out through the left. And then release, come back down to the ground. On your inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, feet step back, plank pose. Take a vinyasa here if you would like to. Certainly find child's pose or downward facing dog if not. Good, let's go ahead and meet in down dog. Yeah, and we're just going to go through that one time on the other side too. So left leg rises if you've got room. Exhale, left foot's going to step forward between the hands. Again, left knee stacks on top of the heel. Right leg is just as long and straight as we can make it. Left hand to the sky, take a twist. And left hand comes down to prepare and support. Reverse warrior, up and over. Left hand lifts and stretches back. Right hand can slide down the leg or it can wrap around the waist or even towards that inner thigh. And then we'll take crescent lunge, reaching forward, spinning that back heel up. Hands come to heart center as we step forward on that left foot. And again, remember, you can kind of hop halfway up and halfway up. Right? Just finding balance. We're playing with it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let's inhale and lift the arms. Exhale, hands take that front shin or thigh. We're going to inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, squeeze in a little bit tighter if you can. Inhale and lift. Exhale, airplane pose, just a breath. Inhale and lift. Exhale, hands through heart center as that right heel crosses left thigh. And maybe the elbows come down, maybe not. You can stay quite lifted. Inhale and lift. Exhale, feet down, hands to heart center. Close down the eyes. Take a couple deep breaths. And coming into goddess pose here. Stay up at the front end of your mat. Feet are going to come about mat's width apart. Heels in, toes out. Yeah, if this doesn't feel great on your knees, I'll give you an alternative. So if coming into goddess, though, go ahead and sink the tail down towards the ground. Hands to heart center, sitting down as the chest lifts up, the elbows press out, the palms come together. Right, so a great option here. If you've got a block, it can be really helpful to take some of that pressure off, to sit on the block. The stretch becomes less intense, but it's still the same, right? We still get that same feeling in the same places. It's just not as intense, if that's what we're looking for. If, though, this is not good on our knees, just go ahead and come to a seated bound angle pose. Soles of feet together, knees pressing out, shoulders back and down, chest lifted. Wherever you are, close down the eyes. Let's take 3 of those breaths together, just like we did before. Inhale, and let it go, nose or mouth. Breathe in, and breathe out. One more, breathe in, and let it go. Good. If you're in goddess, go ahead and come to seated. We'll all find a seat here. So let's take boat pose. We'll just take it once. It's everyone's favorite, I know. So feet flat on the floor, knees pointed up towards the sky. Yeah, really work at lengthening through the spine so we're not all hunched forward. I have terrible posture usually, so I have to remind myself. Hands to the backs of the thighs. Let's go ahead and lean back. And you can stay right here. This is perfect. Maybe feet come up. Maybe you let go. Maybe you straighten out. So find some place in there, wherever that may be. Shoulders back, heart lifted. Big full breaths. And take the feet down to the ground. Let's wrap the arms around the shins, just giving ourselves a little hug, chin inward, forehead down. And then sit tall and lay all the way down onto your mat. Once you get there, bend at the knees. Take the feet wide to the edges of the mat, and the knees can drop in together. Take one hand to your chest and one hand to your belly. Feel your breath move. So with these big inhales, the hand on the belly will rise up as the belly fills full. And then the hand on the chest will come second. And as we exhale, moves in reverse order. While you take a few more breaths in this manner, return to that intention that you set for your practice. So for me, my personal intention is usually patience. Right? And on my mat, that looks a lot more like patience with myself. If I find that I'm getting frustrated because my hips are so tight or my balance is off. And so whatever that thing is for you, just come back to that and look at how that manifested while you're on your mat today. And then open your arms really wide out towards the sides. And keep the feet wide like this, but windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Eventually then come back to center. Walk the feet inward, hips width apart, heels directly below the knees. You should be able to graze the back of your heel with your longest finger. Come into bridge pose. So on an inhale, the hips will press up. From here, you can rock the shoulder blades closer together, maybe clasping the hands beneath the body. Shoulders themselves press downward into the mat while the hips lift. And as those shoulders press down, we will get this openness through the chest, which is what we're looking for in this pose, or one of the many things. Right? That big open heart. Take a big breath in right into that space. And then with your exhale, unclasp the hands and roll down to the mat, one vertebra at a time. Squeeze the knees into the chest once you arrive. Right, and just like before, that can look like a variety of things. You can hold on or lift the head or move around a little bit. And let's take happy baby pose. Reach for the feet. Heels to the sky. Knees pressing towards the armpits. You can hold the inside edges of the feet. Big toes with your peace sign fingers. I like to kind of come through the legs and wrap around to the outer edges of the feet. That helps the hips to stay open. Just see what works for you. You can also hold on to the ankles or even the backs of the thighs if the rest feels like a lot. Here too, you can stay still or move around a little bit. And then release knees to chest. Okay, keep that right knee tucking in. Let's stretch the left leg outward and let it come all the way down onto the mat. So even though it's on the mat, it's not resting completely. Flex the foot, draw the toes back, and keep squeezing that right knee up towards the shoulder. With your next breath out, go ahead and lift the head and hover your right leg off of the mat. Or sorry, your left leg. Take a big breath in through the nose. Exhale and switch. And then same thing here, big breath in. Exhale and switch. We're going to do one more each side. Inhale, stay still. Exhale and move. Breathing in. And breathing out. Once that right knee comes in, let the left leg and the head lay flat on the mat. So right where we started from, and then we'll twist. Draw this right knee across and down. Right arm opens up, maybe head turns to the right. Breathing. And then come back to center. Take both feet flat onto the floor. Center the hips if you need to, if they've kind of jogged over to one side. One hand on the belly and one hand on the chest. Close down the eyes, and we'll just take 3 breaths. Breathe in and let it go. Inhale and release. Last one. And release. And come to knees to chest. Just to prepare, lengthen out then through the right leg while the left knee stays squeezing inward. Flex that right foot as the back of the thigh presses toward the ground and the left knee really squeezes up and in. And then on a breath out, lift the head and hover the right leg. Inhale, stay still. Exhale and move. Breathe in and breathe out. Full breath in. Full breath out. Last one. Inhale here in stillness. And exhale, switch sides. This time the right leg will come down as well as the head. We'll twist to the other side. Left knee goes over and down. Left shoulder stays anchored to the mat. Head can again stay centered or turn over to the left side. It all depends on how my neck is feeling that day, which option I choose. It's one great thing about yoga. It's so adaptable to however it is that we're feeling that day. Come back to center. Good. Again, go ahead and bend both knees, feet flat on the floor, just to, again, sort of center the hips if they've moved to one side or the pelvis. And then let's find Shavasana. So your Shavasana can look like anything. Maybe the legs are extended, the arms at your sides with the palms facing the ceiling. That's usually the route I take. It feels really open and relaxed, but maybe you're best with the knees bent, hands on the chest and belly, or you can even prepare or come into a seated posture for a seated meditation instead if that feels better to your body. I won't keep you for Shavasana. That way you can stay for as long as you would like. A couple minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you need today. But let's begin together. Let's just close down the eyes. Focus on your natural breath for just a round or two. And then let's finish with just 3 of those breaths again together. Breathe in through the nose. Exhale, nose or mouth. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more. Inhale. And let it go. And then settle into the rhythm of your own breath. Thanks, guys. Namaste.